Morning, people. It is Tuesday, the 8th of October. Welcome to TDA, the day after, your favorite news platform and the home of popular culture as defined by the culture. And I'm one of your hosts for today, my own royalty.
And they call me E-Man, the pro-black activist, TDA producer and news analyst, melanin jam-packed.
Oh, it's episode 600.
It is indeed.
Do you know what I realised? This morning I was just doing some random... my thoughts are very random, so don't try to find the root. I realised that what people... So if you have a weekly podcast, so let's just say they take no breaks, they release 52 episodes in a year. We do that in a month and a half.
Yeah.
So I don't know the mathematicians out there. I need to know what the equivalent of, let's just say 2.5 months. How many years that is. Because that's technically how much work we've done.
Yeah.
I feel like I need a nap after this. When I thought about this one, I was thinking, what the hell? That's actually crazy.
Yeah. It's a lot, man.
Anyway.
It is.
Happy 600th episode. Brent is here as well.
Hello, good morning, everybody. How was your weekend?
What was my weekend? Oh, my weekend is, I remember my weekend. I'm tired from my weekend. What did I do? I just had my normal gym sessions, as I do. Oh, is that Miles? Did you manage to make it in? Did you manage to make it in?
What kind of parking you call that?
It's parking. That means I need to leave at time I need to leave. I'm not going to be blocked in. That's what the parking's called.
That's crazy.
Did you manage to make it in?
Don't worry about me. You weren't worried about me when you passed out.
No, I feel like, to be fair, I couldn't remember the size of your car. But like, he'll make it work. What did I do? Oh, yes, I worked as I do. Okay, yeah. I went to a praise and worship event on Saturday night. It was nice. But I realized that I'm definitely anti-noise. Like, I don't like noise. There was a point in there. It was nice. I felt like the first half was lovely. Todd Delaney was there. Israel Houghton was there. But when Israel was there, I was in my bed. Nothing but me. When I'm tired, I'm going home. It got to this point, you know, like how the Christian worship is sometimes these days, where it's like flashing lights. It feels like a Kings of Leon concert. I said, yeah, I gotta go. I'm not doing this. I don't think we need to be doing all of this for Jesus personally. I feel like it removes the reverence from that. So when that segment started, and it was just a lot of noise, it literally felt like it was like Christian rock. So then I started to think maybe the music I listen to is Christian R&B. I'd never thought about that. Foolishness. That's what it is. Foolishness. Noise.
Why is that foolishness?
Because it's just unnecessary. And then you're doing, like, I feel like here, if something is to glorify God, if a heathen walks in here and cannot tell that we're glorifying God, then I think something's wrong. It literally felt like a Take That / Kings of Leon / whatever rock band exists in there. And it was just too much. Just jumping all over the place. Just, ugh. Good luck to everybody that had it. They enjoyed it. But as for me and my household, I was done. I like the more somber, like the praise and worship doesn't have to be like, obviously somber. I come from a hymns background. I'm Baptist. But praise and worship doesn't always have to be like that. Obviously there's like, I'm also Nigerian and Nigerian praise and worship is lively. But I just think that there's a line. And I'm seeing more and more in modern Christian music today, that line is not just being, people are sliding through that line. So,
I have so many questions.
Go on.
So many questions. There are different types of worship songs, right? There are ones that just focus on the lyrics and it's repetitive and it draws you into the sanctum, right? And then there are songs created for your, I guess, like an album, Spotify album listening. Like an artist comes and says, I love God, I love music.
But I'm a rapper.
Right? And it's not that you want to make secular music. It's that in order to bring these bars out of me, I need this type of music, this type of beat, right?
I have a theory about that.
Because when back in the day, people used to say, do you produce secular music? I'm like, what do you mean? Like, do you realize that certain beats are for the streets? I'm like,
a beat?
What, do you mean like garage, drill? I mean, first question, I'm all over the place here because my head's all over the place.
It's
right?
all right.
But I didn't expect you to ever say
no one ever
like that.
does.
Yeah. And I had an evolution within music and in the church.
Yeah.
Right? Because there was a time when we had to throw away all our albums and whatnot and burn our Evisu jeans because it was demonic.
It wasn't of
right?
Christ.
Yeah. And I don't know exactly what environment you experienced on Saturday. So I am speaking just off
generally.
in principle. Yeah. Cool. Do you think that there is certain beats, just the beats, instrumentals, that are ungodly?
No, just off a beat. No,
How about
I think it's what you
heavy
do with
metal?
the beats. Yeah, I wouldn't say it's ungodly. I don't think beats is what makes it ungodly. I think the artists, the lyrics, all that stuff is what can make something ungodly. Because when you think about that, there's a lot of instruments make up that sound. So I'm not going to call it ungodly.
Do you think that there are certain chords you can play that will have your mood in the gutter?
Yeah, I don't want to hear Christian drill. And I probably do that speculation, to be fair.
Just instrumental.
Yeah, so if it's a drill beat, I don't know what a drill beat sounds like. I don't listen to drill.
Yeah.
But I imagine the beat goes with the lyrics. So just without the lyrics.
Yeah.
And if it's evoking, if a beat is able to evoke emotions of anger within people,
Yeah.
I don't think that's what Jesus was meant to come to the altar with.
Okay, cool. Now let's go to the Kings of Leon stuff.
Yeah.
First of all, do you attend secular concerts?
Yes.
And do you enjoy yourself?
Yeah, depending on the artist.
All right. And that's fine. You can basically look to reconcile that with God.
Yeah.
All right. But you don't want that in your church?
No, I don't want secular things in my church. I don't go, I wouldn't go to like a Christian club.
Fair.
Don't be silly.
But you will attend the secular stuff.
Yeah.
But you're still a Christian 24/7.
Always a Christian.
Okay. All right. But when it is you decide to go to church, don't have that in my eardrum.
Yeah, because when I go to see Ashake, I'm not going there to worship God. But when I go to church, I'm going there to worship God. When I go to worship nights, I'm going there to worship God. So when I get there, I'm not expecting remixes of Davido and Ashake and Ari Lennox in there.
Fair. Now, let's dial it back just to music that you would find coming from a Christian, right? Mm-hmm. There is a difference between you hearing music on a Sunday morning.
Yeah.
Depending on the church you're going to, it's going to have a style.
Absolutely.
I don't know what church you go to. I'm assuming it's kind of dialed down, tempered down, a little measured, a little sweet. Not too much Kings of Leon going on, I'm assuming.
No Kings of Leon going on.
Do you do hymns?
Yeah, we sing hymns, but then we also sing modern worship. That's not like Amazing Grace.
Do you have a drummer?
Yeah, we got everything.
So is it lively?
It's not a Methodist church.
Okay.
Because if you go to Methodist church, they have an organ and all the songs are slow. It's not like that in my church.
Methodist churches and Reformed Baptists and whatnot.
Yeah.
They don't believe in modern.
Yeah, exactly. So we have modern, we sing African songs and whatnot in there.
All right, but it doesn't look or sound like Hillsong or Maverick City.
No.
Have you ever been to a church that covers Hillsong and Maverick City tunes?
Yes, but then they haven't performed it. Obviously with them, it's a whole production.
Yeah.
Because even in my church, we sing songs like they do. Like there's certain songs that, because there's songs that they didn't write. It's just Christian songs that have come across time, and obviously people do their own versions. But it's not I would say the churches I've been to, it's not a concert. It feels like worship. It's not a concert. And to be fair, they did say this was a concert, but...
All right, so you went to a concert?
They called it a concert. It's not. It wasn't advertised as a concert.
Okay.
It was advertised as a worship night.
Cool.
So don't let me get here now. Now you're trying to remix things because you got Kings and Leon in the back.
Okay. So what's the difference between a concert and a worship night in your head?
If it's a concert, if it's a Christian concert, I'll just imagine you're just playing different songs. You've got different artists and whatever. But if it's a worship night, it's more intentional. It's more about the togetherness. It's praying in between.
Yeah.
So I don't see how you can have music that's so disruptive.
Yeah.
And then want people to bring them down quickly to them pray. That doesn't seem. And I think with just certain Christian genres, I think my theory is that sometimes people just use Christianity as a way to hide because you're not able to make it in the secular world. Because when it comes down to it, then what over time as your career goes, you don't so much care about glorifying God or using your platform whatever to glorify God. It's more with you wanting to rub shoulders with secular artists. It's you being upset now that you didn't win a Grammy. It's you being upset now that you're not being recognized in the mainstream and whatever. But then, is that what God has called you for? If you're saying this is what talent for. So my theory is that people that do like Christian rap and obviously sometimes maybe that's the only way you're able to get lyrics out. That's great.
Yeah.
All the best to everybody involved.
Yeah.
But I believe that sometimes people mask things under, I'm doing it for God. It's Christianity. I make Christian music. And then over time anyway, you see them start to fall away from the Christian music they claim to make because you're not getting the accolades that you thought you were like. It's almost like they're trying to like trick God. That you feel like if you tell God, oh, this is all for you, it means you're gonna get a quicker path than if you're taking the secular route that we can see is more crowded. And I just don't think it works like that.
Cool. I used to believe that worship only looked one way.
Yeah.
And that was the way in which I grew up under.
Yeah.
So when it is, I first went to Grace Baptist Church in Walthamstow, and I was now introduced to music that had a band, because I didn't come from a church that had a band.
Okay.
It just had an organ.
Oh, fair.
And I guess after a while, a piano player, a pianist. And when I went into Grace Baptist Church, Emmanuel Christian Center, ECC in Walthamstow, they had a band and they had a worship leader and they had a choir. And they had songs that you would find in Hillsong Church, right? And I didn't know about Hillsong Church then. I just knew that these songs were a bit more than I had been used to. In fact, they actually put up on a projector the words for me to follow, right? And there were Sundays that I visited that I absolutely adored it because it showed me a different side of Christ I had never been introduced to. There were words attached to melodies that talked about the reverence of Christ. I didn't get that from my church. I only got psalms and I got hymns. And these hymns were hymns that I remembered from back home in Trinidad, right? Old school hymns, right? Some of them were airing on what tantamount to Negro spirituals. Do you understand? And it was sung in such a dead way. But when I went to this church, it made me want to basically, I guess, worship God more. It brought me into that particular sanctum, that sanctuary, and I enjoyed it. And then I went to camp. And it's a group of churches all come together, right? And we, ECC, were one of the black churches that were there. There were two, Hackney and it was Walthamstow. And then I saw different type of worship where the band was bigger and the music was accompanied with flags and jumpers. People just jumping and dancing and there was a lot going on. So myself and Stephen, we're like, no, this can't be right. This can't be. But the white people were really, really getting involved. Do you understand? And I had to grow to love that because people worship God differently. Do you understand? So I then got baptized not baptized as in physically baptized, by the way. That was funny for you? I'm not talking about physical baptism. I'm talking about
spiritual baptism
in this new world, right? And I had to reconfigure my mind.
What do you mean baptism in this world? What world?
In this new musical world, in this.
So you got indoctrinated in this world. When you say baptism, I think
I got immersed.
I got don't use baptism.
And when I came up, I had a change of mind.
Okay,
Do you understand?
You know the camera is on me.
I just put it on you.
You did put it on you.
Because you laughed when I said I got baptized.
No, I'm not listening to you.
Fair.
Seychelles in France.
Seychelles? I don't think so.
Wait, I can't hear Marcus mic.
That might be God.
It's not in France.
It's not.
No. That's awkward.
That's what I'm laughing.
I bet you're being wrong and strong as well.
Not wrong and strong. I just don't know why I think that.
Yes,
Where's the Seychelles?
Not in France.
Doesn't sound like a French.
It's like an island or something.
What's in France that sounds like the Seychelles?
Saint-Tropez.
That could. They don't
No,
even sound
it
alike.
doesn't sound nowhere like. It sound nothing alike. Yeah. You think of Brussels? Seychelles, Brussels. Are you thinking of Brussels? That's not even in France.
Oh no. Okay, sorry. As you were, my bad.
Yeah, I feel like there's definitely different kind of worship. I just think that I just always believe that when it comes to Christian things, if someone who had no idea walked in, they should be able to tell that this is a Christian gathering. Like if you're doing headbanging stuff, I'm sorry, you're not worshiping God as far as I'm concerned.
So it was headbanging.
Yeah, but that's the kind of music I'm talking. The Kings of Leon, you people are swaying sides and doing this to Kings of Leon.
But was it
You're
rock?
not.
Was it rock instrumental? Was it the rock beat?
It was a Kings of Leon experience.
You know, I love the fact that people are able to ascribe praise of God
Yeah.
to music that I'm not familiar with. Because whatever gingers you and basically draws you into that inner sanctuary, I can't complain.
But that's the
about
thing that I don't know if you're being drawn to in sanctuary. I think you're being drawn somewhere else because I feel like that's where demons sometimes reside. I feel like people invite a lot. People don't. Music is so powerful, and I think that sometimes people invite demons and stuff in that midst without realizing. Because even with music as well, I don't like when churches try and use music to play on people's emotions, and then and then the message and everything they do after that is relying on the fact that we've played with your emotions, and now we can ask you for money, and now we can ask you for this. Like, and I feel like sometimes it all just flows with that.
Were they collecting money after the?
They're trying to collect money before. Talking about the event was expensive to run, and I said, yeah, it's a ticketed event. It's a ticketed event. So I don't understand why you're asking me for money.
So you were asking for money on entrance.
Not on entrance, but during the show when it started, the guy basically said that we could people could give money or whatever. So I hear when the church uses the word "so,"
you know what's coming.
I just think you're just foolishness up in here. But they were talking about sowing and
sowing,
give to the Lord. You know when they say you sow and you reap, that's not what Jesus meant. Talking about and then said about the event was cost a lot to run, but no one asked you to book this venue.
Yeah.
And then also it was a ticketed event. Like people paid to be here, and they were also selling their merch downstairs. And then what else? He's like, we're all volunteers. None of us get paid. That sounds like you need to make bare financial decisions. That's what it sounds like.
Yeah.
But anyways, I feel like the first half was good, but it didn't. I listen to worship all the time. Listen to worship my way this morning, and worship gets me to connect with God, to pray to God, like just to revere God. And there, I honestly was on TikTok. I was on Instagram. There was no connection. I feel like if you're how do I even say this? I just think sometimes if you're vulnerable, situations like that will make you think that this is the gateway to you drawing closer to God. But the reality is that after that, like what's the after that? Like what? Like once those keys stop being played and once all of this is done, will you still feel that connection to God? Because when I have worship in my car just this morning, like I'm not listening to music right now, but I still feel.
Yes.
Do you get what I mean?
Yeah. So I hear that argument because certain songs, given the time in which I hear it, and the spirit in which I am sitting in, will stay with me for a while until there's noise outside and it disrupts that, right? You might jump out of that particular wash as soon as Ismail starts talking about topic of the day. You know, due to the fact that your brain is now forced to basically remove yourself from that nice airy wash that you had this morning to now and your spirit shifts. You can feel it shift, and then you might feel away because you're now ushered out of that particular blessing that you were in. But that happens with any and everything. You don't even have to be listening to like worship. You could be reading your Bible and you can feel that particular presence. Absolutely. And then once it is you switch the TV on or you go on your phone you feel that shift because
Yeah.
I've been ushered out of that particular spirit. But I'm interested to know and to hear that Kings of Leon stuff. Like
Yeah.
I am. Because I do understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
And I do remember that time when it is, I'm like, what is all this foolishness? And
Yeah.
you had people running up and down with flags and waving. I'm thinking, they can't be worshipping. But I grew to learn that, yeah, your duty right now is to basically do that.
I feel like there's a way to. Yeah, I feel like you can worship God, like worshiping God with flags and whatever else. That's not foreign to me because I see that as that's you dancing with joy. Like I see that as when what was it? Is it what was Moses' wife called? Like her song of praise in the Bible. I see that as that. Like I see them when they're walking around Jericho and whatnot. Like that's what I imagine when I'm reading these passages in the Bible.
I never.
Yeah, I hear you.
saw that as a
I hear you,
disruption.
but I tell you as a matter of fact,
Yeah.
I will never be in an environment where there's so much noise going on, literally actual, because music shouldn't sound like noise. And I'm never going to get to a point where it's sounding like noise and you're doing headbanging and whatever else, and I'm going to ever see that as you worshiping God. Worshiping God should be like, it's a reverent act. You're literally, like, I don't think, if I'm not going to be in God's presence, headbanging, because then where do we draw the line? Because then someone could be twerking in praise.
Do you agree that the different types of worship that you can offer to God?
Yeah.
As we're sitting here talking, I believe that we're worshiping God.
Okay.
Do you agree?
No.
All right. We're talking about God. We're literally spreading the gospel right now. That's a form of worship in my mind,
Okay, fair.
right? If it is that you go outside and you see somebody and they're in need, they need assistance, and you go, I see it as worshiping God.
Yeah.
Do you see that as worship
I
God?
see that as well, yeah.
So when you hear say worship, I believe there are different forms of worship, and people worship differently.
Because maybe I should say musical worship then.
No, I understand what you're saying, but even in that same saying,
Yeah.
it doesn't look the same way amongst everybody else.
Yeah,
Same
clearly.
way,
It clearly
different
didn't.
people's culture. My mother would listen to rap. What is all this noise? R&B. What's all this noise? She's not from that era.
Yeah.
Do you understand? That's not what she takes in.
Yeah.
That's not what she connects to. If I ask her, it could be the slowest rapper ever.
Yeah.
What did that person just say? I don't know, Brent. Do you understand? So I'm really interested to hear what this Kings of Leon like mashup sounded like.
It sounded like the worst thing I'd ever heard in a while. And honestly, it activated my migraine. So, like, I literally was there and I actually had a headache. And I left.
Yeah. All right. Good morning, everybody.
Also, quickly, I had sugarcane drink.
All right.
So there's this people, I think I saw them when I went to one of the food festivals I've been to. They're called Pure Cane. And they've got a shop now, which is really great. And I went there and it was lovely. It was so lovely. They're such a lovely couple. So anyway, check them out.
Where
Pure
is it?
Cane. It's in South. I think it's in Peckham actually. They've got a shop. They're shopping in Peckham.
All right. Just a reminder to everybody, only women. SPRC Women's Wellness Festival is on the 26th of October, which is a Saturday. And Dr. Amani will be speaking there. It's going to be a fantastic day. You're going to get yoga. You're going to get mental health and mindfulness workshops. There's going to be a HIT class, not run by Gina. And I don't even think they're in talks. But
So annoying.
you're still going to enjoy yourself. And inspiring talks on physical and mental well-being. I guess Dr. Amani is going to be in that there too. So I'm going to drop the link in the chat, but I'm also going to drop it on the description. I've already had 3 people ask for the link yesterday. So you're going to be able to see TDA people there too. But you're not going to see me because I'm not allowed to go. All right.
Who banned you from going? Oh, good women.
Yeah. I asked if it is I could identify as one, but I didn't get any response.
Good. You deserve no response. Silly question. Anyway, it's still Black History Month.
Lest we forget.
All right, people. Happy Black History Month. For those unaware, of course, this Black History Month, we want to hail up all the unsung heroes or as many as we can anyway, men and women, black men and women who have contributed to the world in such a powerful way that often get, forgotten about. So today, we want to big up Thomas L. Jennings. So he was born in 1791. He passed away February 12th, 1859. And he was an African-American inventor, a tradesman, an entrepreneur, and an abolitionist in New York City. So he has the distinction of being the first African-American patent holder in history. He was granted the patent in 1821 for his novel method of dry cleaning. So his invention, along with his business expertise, yielded a significant personal fortune, much of which he put into the abolitionist movement in the United States. He had a dry scouring process, and that's basically what got him famous. He invented it, essentially the same method used by dry cleaning businesses worldwide to this day. So that same method that people use today, he invented way back in the 19th century. He was a leader in the cause of abolitionism and the African-American civil rights in the United States. In 1831, he was selected as Assistant Secretary to the first annual convention of the people of color in Philadelphia, in Pennsylvania, which met in June of that same year. After his daughter Elizabeth Jennings was forcibly removed from a whites-only New York City streetcar in 1854, he then organized a movement against racial segregation in public transit in the city. He helped arrange her legal defense, which included the young future president, Chester Arthur, and won her case in 1855. Along with James McCune Smith and the Reverend James W.C. Pennington, Jennings created the Legal Rights Association later that year, which was a pioneering minority rights organization. Its members organized additional challenges to discrimination and segregation and gained legal representation to take cases to court. And in 1865, a decade after Elizabeth Jennings won her case, New York City streetcar companies stopped practicing segregation. So this was because of him. Basically, that particular area of segregation was stopped. He was famous for saying, our relation with Africa is the same as the white man's is with Europe, only with this difference. The one emigrated voluntarily and the other was forced from home and all of its pleasures. So big up Mr. Thomas L. Jennings. We also want to big up the legendary Mary Seacole. So she was born 23rd of November, 1805, and she transitioned 14th of May, 1881. She was a British nurse and a businesswoman. She was born in Kingston to a Creole mother who ran a boarding house, and she had herbalist skills as a doctress. So why is she important? So basically, she studied herbs and treatment and went to the front line to treat soldiers, putting her life on the line for these men and women at war. She traveled to England and approached the British War Office, asking to be sent as an army nurse to the Crimea, where she had heard there were poor medical facilities for wounded soldiers. She was refused. She then funded her own trip to Crimea, which is now part of Ukraine, right? Where she established the British Hotel with Thomas Day. The hotel provided a place for respite for sick and recovering soldiers. And at that time, Mary was as well known in Britain as Florence Nightingale. That's how known she was, yeah? And I'm pretty sure everyone knows Florence Nightingale. But Mary's hotel near Balaclava was much closer to the fighting. So Mary was able to visit the battlefield herself, sometimes under fire, to nurse the wounded. Indeed, she nursed 6 soldiers so kindly that they called her Mother Seacole. And in 1990, she was posthumously awarded the Jamaican Order of Merit. In 2004, she was voted the greatest Black Briton in a survey that was conducted in 2003 by the Black Heritage website Every Generation. She was voted the greatest Black Briton. With regards to her quotes and some famous sayings, she said, "Unless I'm allowed to tell the story of my own life in my own way, I cannot tell it at all." And she also said it was wonderful to see how freedom and equality elevate men, and the same Negro who perhaps in Tennessee would have cowered like a beaten child or dog beneath an American's uplifted hand would face him boldly here, and by equal courage and superior physical strength, cower his old oppressor. She also said, time is a great restorer and changes surely the greatest sorrow into a pleasing memory. Time is a great restorer and changes surely the greatest sorrow into a pleasing memory. So yeah, pick up Miss Mary C. Cole. That's it.
All right, let's get into our headlines.
All right, people, trigger warning on this one, big trigger warning. And the former Metropolitan Police Officer David Carrick has been charged with 8 sexual offences against 2 women. The 49-year-old faces 5 counts of indecent assault against 1 woman. Hertfordshire Police also charged him with 2 counts of rape, 1 count of sexual assault, and 1 count of coercive and controlling behaviour against another woman. Detective Chief Inspector Ian Moore said it followed an extensive and complex investigation conducted over a period of several months. And the CPS, the Crown Prosecution Service, said that Carrick would appear at Westminster Magistrates Court on the 17th of October. Lisa Ramsaran, who's the Chief Prosecutor in Thames and Chiltern, added, as criminal proceedings against this defendant are active, there should be no reporting, commentary, or sharing of information online which could in any way prejudice his right to a fair trial. Next headline, another trigger warning on this, guys, and a GP has been jailed for 22 years after he was found guilty of indecently assaulting 7 women during routine examinations. Stephen Cox, whose age is 65, was convicted of 12 counts of indecent assault after a 4-week retrial at Reading Crown Court. He was acquitted of a further 4 charges. Cox denied all 19 charges of indecent assault while working at a surgery in Bracknell in Berkshire during the 1980s and the 1990s. Thames Valley Police said that over a number of years, Cox repeatedly indecently assaulted 7 of his female patients on the pretext of carrying out routine medical examinations. And during his trial, the jury heard Cox got patients to undress unnecessarily. He touched their breasts, pressed his body against theirs, and carried out internal examinations when they were not needed or without using gloves. And the last headline, trigger warning on this one, guys. Sorry for all the trigger warnings. And a 17-year-old boy has died following a police chase in northwest London that ended in a collision. The teenager was one of 3 males taken to hospital after a crash on Park Royal Road outside Central Middlesex Hospital in Harrow at about 5:25 yesterday morning. One of the other occupants is in critical condition, and the third is not believed to be seriously injured. The police watchdog, the IOPC, will investigate the circumstances, and the Met's Directorate of Professional Standards has been informed. And that's it for our headlines.
Let's get into what you're saying. You could, man.
Sure.
I can't lie to you.
All right, people. So today's topic of the day. It's a shame we have to go at a decent time today. But
What do you mean? That's a scheduled
shame.
time.
It's
What are you doing here? Time? What?
Such a shame.
this is insane.
No, this is
Everyone
nonsense. There needs to be a meeting about this.
There will
a
be.
staff meeting. This is the time we're meant to be leaving. For one.
Fantastic. Fantastic.
Wow, it's a shame we can't sit here
What
for
time
5 hours.
10:30?
Yes.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
It's 10. No, there's no guest today. So 2. It's at 10. Sorry, it's 2-hour show. There's no guests.
Fantastic. That was Inception, by the way. But anyway, today's topic of the day, yeah. Tell me what's more important to you guys. Convicting the guilty or protecting the innocent?
Truth.
This is what you want 3 hours of talking about. This is what you want 3 hours of.
Oh, the truth.
That's how you fail exams. Simple question, 2 options. Here you go, adding your option C.
The truth shall set you free.
The truth.
Depends.
Okay.
Depends with the judges.
Yeah, facts. Now, guy, what's it? Evidence or?
Yeah, convicting the guilty or protecting the innocent? What should be the priority?
I didn't protect an innocent. I don't get it.
So, for example, if somebody's innocent, right, and there's a chance they could go to prison because of what you put into place to make sure that you convict the guilty, is it worth it?
If someone innocent can go to jail because of things that you put in place to protect the innocent.
No, to convict the guilty. So let's just say, for example, you got something in place there that will 8 times out of 10 get the guilty people, but 2 times out of the 10.
First of all, sorry, no. Y'all in people's business you should not be in. I just told you at the start of this show that what podcasters do for a year's worth of content is a month and a half for us. We've basically been doing this for 10 years. talking about you're worrying about the time you go on for, not time you start. You're in people's business.
That's the real question.
That's the
right?
real tea is in people's business.
That's like what was it?
Yeah, because you're the one putting the comments out.
This.
Man's just shuffling all of them, just bring them up
Oh
one at a
my
time.
gosh! Like, are we doing
mean,
what
ask
it is that
ChatGPT how long
we're
have we been doing this show
seeing?
for?
Right? Do you do as I do and not as I say?
What's that?
This whole us telling people to fix up.
We don't tell anyone to fix up.
No,
though.
we do.
I'm telling Emmanuel to fix up.
No. We do as in when I say we, as in Manuel does.
Oh.
Always tells the black community to fix up. You know?
Yeah, but I already gave my comments.
All
on
the
that.
time, right? And then we're always starting late.
It doesn't matter. When I'm sitting there at 1 o'clock, no one ain't saying, take it easy, Mugs, go home.
This is
No one ain't
what-
saying, relax, baby boy.
But two
Don't
things.
work too hard.
Don't work too hard, baby boy, go home. No one ain't saying that.
This
Not
nobody-
one
is
person.
Not one person
so
tells me that.
Interesting.
Because when you
Not one
recording and,
person told
and you
me
want
that.
you wanted to be talking to me anyhow, you know that's what I was gonna add. That's what I was gonna add to the end of my the maths I did this morning about the episodes and what equivalent years. I thought, can you imagine all this work? And when you start yapping
the show's
on
supposed
the
to be
Discord,
2 hours. When we got guests here, we're
Doing
having
back and forth.
riveting conversations. I'll just lock it off. I'll just shut it all down and say home time,
But
people.
this is
I
what they're
think-
saying.
I
What are
think-
your
No, if
boundaries
that's what you
like?
want-
That's what they're
Let's
saying.
see
What
that.
are your boundaries like?
You don't want-
Because you are complaining to them about that. No, you can't.
I
They
don't
tell you
complain.
Your boundaries
I
need
think
to
it's
be
time to
tightened
start
up, baby.
complaining.
I don't complain. I just
think
say
it's
what
time
I'm
to start.
saying. Whoever likes it, likes it. Whoever don't like it, don't like it. I also just do what I'm doing. I'll stay to 1 and I'll turn up at 9. You're going to get what you're going to get and you're going to love it or you're not.
Now, how
Do you-
come
do you not
it's
think what's
inbuilt
happening?
in everybody to just jump on the defense?
I think,
not
do you know what I think we
defense.
should start doing actually? I think at 8 a.m. just have the camera rolling.
See, I
Just set up the
suggested
camera.
that over a year ago. You should come hell or high water. You should do a hard start. That will
But
fix
what
things.
happens when it's just me and Esther here?
Yeah, but that won't.
Because
Obviously,
you know,
eventually,
my time is late now. I'm never gonna lie to you. I get
precisely.
here at
And I
7:55
didn't
now.
say it.
there's no jeopardy.
No, that's fine.
There's no jeopardy there.
because I lose nothing. Do you know how many stops I get to make? I'm in the area at 7:40, but I make stops. I go and get a bagel. I stop at Sainsbury's, see what offers
Because
they've
you
got
don't
on.
know no men are in here.
I say 8 a.m. The camera just rolls. So everyone start walking in here, stop chatting shit. But I think the camera just rolls at 8 a.m. And then at 10 o'clock,
That would
the
make,
camera goes off.
That would make more sense for me
Yeah, I say we do that.
Why would it make sense for you?
because there's jeopardy. If I know the camera's rolling at 8 o'clock, come hell or high
Didn't
water.
I tell you this the other day? It's a knock-on effect. Like,
you know what
you
it
don't
is,
think
though?
he's watching you, but he's watching.
No, if you be watching. No, if you think about actually how the show started, Marx is the first one here. Marx is earlier than me. And then Marx said, well,
Why am I doing
what am I doing here? And I remember the day he gave us a speech. I remember the first speech he gave us, and nothing changed. And he said, okay, and the boys were coming here as the spirit leads ever since. So fair. You want a hard start 8 a.m.? We'll give you a hard start 8 a.m.
That would help me. I'm not gonna lie. That would help me back up. If I know come hell or high water,
The
at 8
camera's
o'clock,
on.
this camera's rolling, I'll be here.
That is so
Okay,
interesting.
so what are we saying? Are we saying from tomorrow this is going to be the case?
Yes, and it's a 2-hour show from tomorrow. Like, that's my thing. My thing is what time we finish.
It should always be a 2-hour
It's a 2-hour show. And when we got guests, it ranges from 2.5 hours to 3.
Sprinkle.
Depending on how. Do you know what I mean? Depending on who the guest is. Something like Sace. You can't talk to Sace for 30 minutes. That's silly.
Yeah.
So other people could do 15 minutes even. It depends on the person.
All right.
So 8 a.m. Come rolling. I need to get some placards. Somebody cut up.
Some cutout.
All right, sorry, man.
Well, I guess
Alright.
it works for them to be in people's business then. Look at
All
that.
right, cool. So, yes, what's more important to you guys? So, yeah, I was saying, for example,
Yeah.
let's just say you had a system in place that would kind of guarantee you get 8 out of 10 criminals, right? But it meant sometimes you would get 2 out of 10 innocent people put in prison. Is that worth it?
For me, I'm always about getting guilty. I've always been about justice.
Okay. But is it justice that 2 people are going into prison for no reason?
It's not, but you got to look at the rates. Because
Okay.
we could have had 0.
All
Zero
right, that's
guilty
true.
go. So I'd take it 8. 8 out of 10 is not bad.
Brent, Marks, what are you not saying? You had a system in place where 8 out of 10 guilty people rightly go to prison. But it also meant that 2 innocent people go to prison too. Is it worth it?
Every time, 2 out of 10.
Yeah.
No, we can set better standards for us than that.
So, okay, so
Those are the parameters he set you, though.
Yeah, like
Yeah, I'm not picking it then. No,
so what's the other option?
no
0
innocent
out of 10
people have to
guilty.
go jail, bro. Like,
So what's the other
that's
option?
That's not a fair trade for me. That don't make sense.
What's the
I
other
feel like we
option?
could do
The,
better.
the other option would be
I didn't even
No.
ask that. I just said get the guilty.
the other option is no innocent people go to prison, but you get
2 out of 10 guilty.
like you get let's just say 2 out of 10 people are guilty. So the other 8 out of 10 they're on the street.
That's a crazy society we're living in. I think
So
8 out of
no
10.
innocent
Yeah,
people go, but your
yeah.
conviction rate's only 20%.
Then you got more
Like
crimes
correct
happening.
correction. Like you,
Yeah.
80% of the people that are getting convicted are.
Yeah. So some of the guilty they get to go
They're
home.
roaming free.
They get to go home.
Can they keep
Let's
reoffending?
just say 50-50. So you get 50% of the criminals, real criminals, getting off, but the other 50% you do.
Yeah, no, that's fair because you're allowed a chance. It's a system, innit? It's a game. You should
Yeah,
be allowed
if
to
it-
play.
if it's
So
50 out-
if you can get off, then you should be allowed to get off. But innocent people shouldn't have to go to jail for you.
If it's 50, then I wouldn't. I wouldn't want innocent to be convicted because the law of averages at some point will catch the guilty
guilty.
people. At some point, we should be able to catch up, catch them all, basically.
Okay.
If
Brent,
it's
what,
82, yeah, they're martyrs.
Brent, what are you saying?
I would let the guilty roam for a while longer. I can't stand having innocent people locked up.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's me.
Okay. So let's just say, for example, there was a guilty party. So we know this person's guilty, but the police or the government, whoever the authorities, right? They did some illegal things, right? They went through some illegal channels, right? To obtain the evidence that would rightfully put this guilty person in prison. Should that guilty person be in prison?
No.
Okay. Esther Brent, what are you thinking?
Wait, so they illegally got information to convict the guilty person.
Yeah.
Should they be in jail?
Yeah.
Yeah, because they did that shit. We just the way we
They
got
did
it was
yes.
no. That's all lawyers do that. What do you mean? When you're in court and they just randomly spring some detail that the other side didn't have. Where do you think they got that from?
No, but that's secret. It's not illegal.
Yeah, exactly. That's not illegal.
I don't care how we get the information. If the person's guilty, they did that.
They can't.
Then
do
you're
that.
going in.
It's police. They're held to a higher
No.
standard because then when police corruption comes into it,
No
and
one's
stuff
meant to
like that-
know. Who's gonna know?
But that's what I'm trying to say. You're not gonna be able to police them. You're not gonna be able to police the police.
No, but the only way
If
you
you're
know
allowed
this.
to go to illegal means,
Yeah.
to do that, police with vendettas, with people that just don't like, and just start
Yeah.
setting man up, and just start,
Yeah, but
just start
I'm not thinking that far.
fabricating crimes, like just
Yeah.
doing anything. So if there's nothing in place to police the police, then
No,
that
but
could
I'm
just
not.
get crazy. So
the way
there
I'm
needs to
taking
be
the
rules.
scenario-
There needs to be rules and regulations in
Yeah.
place. So there's fairness across the board on everyone. So
Yeah.
whether you're guilty or not, whether you've done it or not,
Yeah.
if the police are doing illegal things in their realms, because they got to follow laws too.
Mm-hmm.
If the police are doing illegal things, then that's inadmissible in court. It should be thrown out because they've got to be held to a higher standard than you as the civilian.
Yeah. So the way I'm treating these scenarios, I'm going off just the scenario that's been placed to me. So for the scenario, the police are only using illegal means to convict guilty people. They're not using it to fabricate stuff for anyone they're doing. Like, no, you can't change your mind. That's what you presented to me.
Yeah, that's
I
the
would
ideal
take that.
That's the ideal
because
situation.
ultimately, the reason why they're doing what they're doing is to get the guilty off
That's
the
like
streets.
it's like a gateway.
Nah, man. Sorry, no. Especially depending on the crime. If it's petty theft, a little stealing from Sainsbury's, that's fine. If it's a paedophile, you're gonna tell me let the paedophile go because they got it illegally. Lock him up twice.
But the
Get some
thing is,
illegal stuff on other people.
I get what you're saying, but you're seeing it in an ideal situation, right? Where
No, but that's what you're presenting me.
Okay, but I want you to look at it like in real life.
Mm.
So, for example, somebody doesn't like you, they could potentially fabricate certain things about you, right?
No, but that's
Is that
different though.
worth
That's different to me using illegal means to get actual proof that you did what you did. Like, if for example, I don't know. Okay, let's just use CCTV for example.
Mm-hmm.
The area of CCTV that we can actually use for this, let's say the building where the person committed this crime, doesn't show, just shows their back. We
Mm-hmm.
can't see their face. However, there's a building next to it where we legally don't actually have the authority to collect that.
Mm-hmm.
But that CCTV shows that this person committed a crime. I'm taking that. I'm using that because it shows that you did the crime. If, for example, you're a layperson, you haven't done anything, you're minding your business, and then they start doctoring stuff, that's different to you illegally obtaining evidence of something that you did.
But doesn't
So that's
one,
different.
Doesn't one lead to the other?
It doesn't, not necessarily.
But if it can, so this is why I mentioned the whole thing about innocent and the guilty, the ratios.
Mm.
If it can lead to that, is it worth a potentially innocent person going to prison.
But I don't see how we can lead to that, because that's like saying if you eat, I don't know, that's like saying potatoes is a gateway for you to just eat nothing but bread all your life. It doesn't necessarily, like, it doesn't, that's different. Like I see me illegally obtaining evidence that someone did something is different to me fabricating stuff that they did something that they didn't do. One of them is framing an innocent person, and one of them is proving guilt.
Yeah, but it's all right. Put it this way. I guess maybe a simpler way would be like, even though you're saying, I'm pretty much going to echo what you just said, but even though you're saying they're framing them, it could appear that way to the court. Because remember, the court doesn't know anything. It's only what you're presenting, saying this is evidence
For the guilty person.
Yeah. So the court doesn't know anything, right?
Yeah.
The prosecutors are basically saying, this is evidence. We found this in this person's property.
Yeah.
Now, if you're not in the house and we come to your house, no warrant, break in, find evidence, and we say...
We find the bloody murder weapon.
Yes, we find the murder weapon, yeah, with your fingerprints on it.
Okay.
Right? And then we say, cool, this is the situation. But what about in the situation where I believe Marks did this? And all the evidence in my brain is saying, all of us are saying, no, he did this. We go to his house, there's nothing there. But we're like, but he did it.
Okay.
And then we go and put a gun there.
But that's what I'm saying, that's different though.
No, but
planting evidence.
The same thing.
Nah, man, it's for me, but it's different.
No,
because
it's different.
planting evidence against somebody to get the result that you want is different to there is proof there, but you just weren't able to submit it, and I find a cheeky way to submit it. That's different to me.
No, but I could have anything in my house. Anything I want.
Yeah.
Guns, drugs, anything. If
Absolutely.
the police ain't got legal, legit means to be in this house and
Yeah.
search this yard, it doesn't matter what they find in there. They're not supposed to be there. That's fair.
Yeah, but if they're trying to convict you for...
They could planted that. They could have planted that.
Yeah, but if they're trying to convict you for being the biggest drug pin there is...
That's even worse.
No, but the coke is in your house.
But that's even worse. They're trying to pin me to being the
but
biggest
they
drug
know you
dealer,
are. They
and they
just
come
don't
to my yard
They can't
illegally.
find the source of it. They can't find your storage.
Exactly. No, but if they had the proper means, they would have done it through the proper means. If they had proper reason to be there, if they knew they could find it, they would have went to the judge and got. If they would have done it illegally, so they can get me. Even if I'm the biggest kingpin or whatever, if they come into my
you
house
did it.
illegally, that speaks to corruption. Because why are you doing this illegally for? It needs to be through
know
the
what's so
proper.
funny about
It needs to be
society?
through the proper channels.
Like imagine.
Don't that make sense? Because you think I'm a kingpin, but you can't prove it. So you're gonna come in my yard
No,
and leave
but-
drugs there
no, but I'm
because
not
you know
saying-
I'm a kingpin.
No,
but you
no,
need to
I'm
be able to
not-
prove it though.
No. I'm not saying this is not making. It's not making stuff up. Is that we've got other stuff, but the things that we've got you on, we can't convict you for that. So, say for example, we know you're kingpin. We see you all the time. However, we have to. Let's just say to get you convicted, we need to find your storage for these drugs.
Yeah.
But you are a kingpin. Like, why are we acting like you're not? And they've just magically made these things.
But what I'm trying to say is because you don't know that and you're so onto me, you are gonna illegally do stuff. You're just gonna start planting
man.
stuff places.
Maybe I'm a
Because
dirty
if There
I
you
must
go.
be, because I'm getting my conviction anyway. I need to do that. Is not me doing things that's immoral. Because yes, I don't have warrant to go into your house, but I know it's in there, and you know it's in there. So don't act like.
But there's plenty of us who believe we know something.
No. But what I'm saying is, I'm talking about I'm not talking about a situation where you look at somebody and you think, oh, I think that guy's a criminal. So I'm going to do everything in my power to prove that he's one.
Yeah.
I'm talking about there's so much stuff here, but the evidence I need, I can't. Like, let's just say the court said they can't have this. So now I have to find a cheeky way to present it in court. I'm against that. Jelly says, I think that says Jelly, risking individual civil liberties when the law keepers can be corrupted isn't a chance worth taking. That's good. But that's the thing though. These people, I've known people that keep the laws. I don't even know why. Like in my scenarios I'm playing here, the police are already corrupt. I don't think this is what breaks the camel's back. Wasn't the first headline about a police person
Yeah, 100%.
doing something? Yeah, man. I mean, I say that depending on what the crime is. Like, I'm not going to say that.
That's a good one.
Natty says you can't be upholding the law whilst breaking it at the same time. I beg to differ. I think you can. I absolutely think you can. If you think all the judges and whatnot follow the law to a T, that's very cute.
All right.
You just got a wig for it.
So let's give like a relatively real scenario. Yeah? So for example, Brent, he believes MJ is guilty. Yeah. There's been no evidence. Right? And I know you're not necessarily saying this. Yeah.
That's not even true.
There's been no evidence because none of us have seen it, right?
I've sent it to you.
Ben sent it
This
to-
is not true.
Why do you guys keep airing that
What are you
text?
talking about?
He's not sent nothing.
Yes.
Fabricated.
But that's a lie.
Fabrication. There you go. You see?
Fabrication.
So
Okay.
Brent believes it's the case, yeah. FBI people believe it's the case. And they put certain things in place, create articles so that Brent can send it across to other people, right?
And taking photos as well?
Was Michael there?
No.
That's what I'm saying. Could have taken it in somebody else's house and put it there and said, this is
Okay.
Michael. Because none of us have seen Michael's bedroom, right?
Facts.
So if in a situation like that, yeah, when you strongly believe this person is guilty, you can send them to jail because you feel like you're doing the moral thing, the thing that God has told you. You know what? You should do. You know what I'm saying? And to me, it's just not worth somebody who's potentially innocent going to prison.
No, but that's my thing though. I'm not going off you planting things for somebody that's potentially innocent. I'm going off because you didn't start off saying the person's innocent. Is that the person is guilty,
Yeah.
but they use illegal means to prove their guilt. For me, that's different to framing an innocent person.
Okay, let me give you an example that Stacey pointed out. She said illegal evidence is like when police arrest you with no cause. There's no probable cause, right? They stop and search you illegally and they find something that they wouldn't have found if they left you alone.
Okay.
Is that allowed? Do you think that should be allowed?
Do you know what's so funny about all of this to me? Are you carrying illegal things? Do you have a gun in your car? Like, I don't understand what we're doing here. Like, do you have a gun in your car? It's bad luck. It's bad luck. It's bad luck. Had you gone the other route your spirit told you to go, you wouldn't be in jail right now. So, I don't know.
All right. So in that scenario with O.J. Simpson, yeah, what do you guys think should have happened?
What was the scenario, OJ?
So where, most of the world believe he did it, right?
But the glove didn't fit, so he had
Glove
to
did-
quit.
the glove didn't fit.
Yeah. Then he wrote a book saying, this is how I would have done it if I didn't do it.
So what do you think should happen? Do you think he did it and should he be in prison?
But the glove didn't fit though.
It didn't fit, no.
I think he did that shit anyway.
So he had to
He
quit.
did it.
If you can't prove it, you gotta let them out.
He did it. But I think that's I think that's a dangerous narrative. Because then all it means is that people just try to be smarter criminals.
You should be allowed to get away with crimes if you can.
That's crazy.
That's the game that we're playing. If you can't prove it, you need to be able to prove it. You should be able to prove it. You can't just be making all these accusations and all these kind of things. You need to be able to prove it. I think that's the way this. Obviously, the system's flawed anyway. Yeah, but that's the way it's set up, innit? Everybody has their day in court. You got your chance to fight for your freedom.
Yep.
I think that's fair. If you could beat a case, beat it. It's not about whether you're
man.
guilty or not.
Because maybe we'll be murdering people and just bury them in the back garden and then never ever leave the house. Then now you've got the whole family, everyone thinking the person is missing. But the whole time they've been killed and they're literally buried at the back of the house. And then that person is just there crying all over the damn place, writing books about, oh my gosh, can't believe I can't find my partner.
Not all murders are equal anyway.
Yeah, but that's in situations where it's self-defense or something, or you're going to kill me first.
But I'm saying, so if
In the
someone's
moment,
gonna-
by the way.
if someone could do self-defense or whatever and bust, like I'm saying, everybody should have a chance to bust their case.
Nah,
I
man.
think that's fair. I think you should deserve a chance to fight your case in court.
I'm so glad I was on this side of the argument on an island, because now what you just said, I'm so glad I wasn't convinced.
Well,
This is why you
everybody-
can't agree with people too quickly. 'Cause look where he went.
Everybody should have a chance to fight their time in court.
No,
You-
no. That's different to what you just said. You said everyone should be allowed to get away with a crime if they don't get caught.
No,
That's
everybody
different to having your time in court.
That's your time. If you can bust the case, you
No,
bust the
that's
case.
different. No, having your time in court is different to be able to commit a crime and get away with it.
No, I don't know if you're gonna.
You're trying to say everyone should be allowed to do whatever they want to do and see whether or not they're going to get away with it. So what kind of world are we living in then?
That's the world that we live in.
Nah, man.
It's your God-given right to have
Get-
your day in court.
Get that evidence, mate.
Exactly. It's their job to get the evidence.
And I will.
Legally.
Or illegally. I will get the evidence wherever way I know that I can.
You'd be a horrible police officer.
No, would that be great? If I knew, you murdered somebody, you murdered your partner, you think I'm not gonna throw the dogs that smell things over the fence? My friend, go and sit in the spot. What are you talking about?
So okay, so
No.
let's just say the dog does go over the fence, right?
Yeah.
And doesn't find what you think is there.
Yeah, that's fine.
What will you do next?
What do you want? I'm gonna go and knock on the door and say hi? I just have to apologize because
No, but remember, in your
No.
head, you're still saying you know the person did it.
yeah.
So-
I'll
so
look at
what-
other things. This
but
is
you
not.
stay on the case.
No, of course, seeing this not being basically it's ticked one thing off my list. I can focus on other things now. But I'm sorry, but if if it's different if you're somebody who's innocent. Say the police stop you because you look a certain way, they profiled you, they stopped you, then they planted drugs in your car. That is a different argument to police stopped you illegally, but they found what you knew was illegal in there. You were still doing something illegal. I feel like when you do illegal things, my mindset is that you're taking a risk. So you can't take a risk and then be upset that the risk you took wasn't positive. That's not how risks work.
Who's the blonde man in power?
Proctor. The lawyer.
The one that hates ghosts.
His name.
Oh.
It's not Gates. It's
And he got sacked and thing.
Oh, it's not Steve. It's the one with the really round head.
And the long like the hair.
Oh, no, I'm talking about the guy he got in partnership with to get the club.
The one who hates him, he's an officer.
Sachs.
That's it.
That's you.
I'm not Sachs.
He's on anything.
Nah, man, that's different.
He's
I'm
on
not
anything.
Sachs.
Planting evidence.
I'm more like
fabricating
Proctor.
evidence.
I'm more like Proctor.
Proctor's the lawyer, right?
Yeah, but Proctor's aware that we can't tell them that how we got this. So I'm gonna just drop it. I'm gonna just anonymously post it to the other lawyer's office, and now they have to be the one to enter it, and now they have to do my dirty work.
You're gonna fuck up.
I'll tell you as well anyway.
You ruined the whole case.
Do you know,
You're too
I'll tell you
hungry.
anyway as well.
You know,
that I
you're
found-
too hungry that you ruined the whole case.
I will tell you, that I found what I found. And once I present this, you're going down. So the best thing you could do is probably take a deal from me. Because if you don't, you're going to face longer. Hella deals in my back pocket.
Yeah.
Hella deals being made. Hella deals.
Brent, what would you say to that?
Oh, what?
To the whole OJ thing, for example.
What's the question?
So basically, there's no evidence, right? Or at least the police tried to add. They actually tried to put blood on the socks or something, right? Because they're so convinced that OJ did this, but they wanted to confirm and seal the deal, right? So they actually take some of OJ's blood and they put it on the socks. Is that okay?
That's different though to the scenario you're presenting.
But he's innocent. He's guilty in their eyes, though.
Yeah, but the thing is, because the way I see the scenario you presented is, for example, them knowing that there's Nicole's clothes that she was wearing on the night is in there. Say, for example, they saw on CCTV or whatever that she went out with a jacket.
Yeah.
When they got to the murder scene, the jacket is missing. So let's say he probably took the jacket. So I would see it as them doing an illegal search, then finding the jacket that proves he did it. Them going and dropping blood, that's you fabricating evidence.
Yeah, but okay, it's different, but at the same time, to me, it's in the same realm. The reason why I'm saying that is because it's still in the mind of the officer saying, I know he did it.
Yeah, but if I went to the
I don't
house,
want him to get off, so I have to do this.
Yeah, but if I went to the house, because this is where I will stop as a cop. If I went to the house and I don't find the jacket, that's the end of that.
Okay.
I'm not going to buy a new jacket, then spilling some blood in it. Like, I'm not doing all of that.
Okay.
If I think something, because at the end of the day, like with police and whatever, they have to go they have to trust their gut. If I'm trusting my gut, I'm like, I feel like her top is in there. And I get in there and the top is not there, cool. That's the L I've got to take. But if I'm then in there and I'm like, well, this top looks similar, I'm going to just sprinkle some blood or whatever. That's way different.
Okay.
So it's Brent's question anyway.
Okay.
I think we have to repeat for Brent. I don't think.
Yeah,
so.
Brent, do you think that's, what was it even?
As in planting evidence?
Yeah.
If I know that they're guilty?
Yeah.
I think that if I were a detective, and this is my 411, I think I would have my own measure of morality and ethics. And I do believe I would bend this law in order to gain entry and whatnot. But I wouldn't falsify stuff because I think that it will come back to me somehow.
Word.
So if I know I can get away with it, 100% I'll do it because I want to be the best at whatever it is I'm doing, and I want to get these wicked people off. For example, I'm a fan of Dexter.
Okay.
Right? So you can tell that this whole moral stuff and it's, I don't care less about that. If they're evil, and remember, they all legally got off.
Yeah.
So his code was, my friend, you should be dead. And you're going about doing this next door, so don't worry. I can play your game. I will basically do what I do and I will get away. Nobody's going to catch me. But your justice will be served. So that would be my type of vibe. I'll be on that. And it would need to be with beyond a shadow of a doubt. Sio's father told him, make sure you triple and quadruple check before you go there. That's what I'll do. And then I'll be like, yeah, forget the legal system.
But couldn't he have an agenda though? Couldn't he just feel like, you know what? And is everyone actually deserving of death though? In the Dexter situation?
In Dexter's situation?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I've not seen it. So these are only murderers that he goes after.
Murderers, pedophiles, you know, very, 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 very like wicked, dark, evil people. They should not be walking the earth. Yeah. But to be honest, in somebody else's world, he shouldn't be walking the earth because he's a serial killer. But he's I guess the Punisher.
Okay.
The Equalizer.
All right. Well, okay. We can wrap it up there.
All right, let's get into
where's my
more headlines.
It's not loading up. All right, people. More headlines. I believe there's a trigger warning on this one. Actually, no. Israel launched an intense wave of air raids on southern Lebanon on Monday with 100 aircrafts targeting about 120 sites in the space of an hour. This is according to the country's military. An IDF Arabic spokesperson issued an urgent warning to Lebanese civilians to avoid being on the beach or on boats on the coast from the Awali River southward until further notice. The wave of strikes came as Israelis marked the anniversary of last year's 7th of October attacks by Hamas, which was the trigger for a year of escalating war in the region. The IDF also announced on Monday that it had designated a new closed military zone in northern Israel, the fourth closed area since the ground invasion started, running eastward from the Mediterranean coast. Next headline, and David Lammy said that the government is young after Sir Keir Starmer's chief of staff, Sue Gray, resigned, and a new poll found that most people think the government is sleazy. The Foreign Secretary said that Ms. Gray was a superb public servant after she quit on Sunday following weeks of briefings against her, including her salary being leaked. After she stepped down less than 100 days into Labour's premiership, Mr. Lammy said, "It's a young government and we get on with the work ahead of us." Following weeks of the row over freebies taken by Sir Keir and his top team, a new poll found that 6 in 10 Britons now describe the Labour government as sleazy. The YouGov poll published on Monday also found that about 53% of Britons expected Labour to behave well over standards. 3 in 10 Labour voters described the government as sleazy, although 6 in 10 Conservative voters say that the same of the 2019 to 2024 Conservative government. And our last headline, Ukraine's military says it has carried out a strike on a large oil terminal off the coast of the occupied Crimean Peninsula. This is the latest in a wave of attacks targeting Russian-controlled energy facilities. Officials in Kiev said that the country's Officials in Kiev said that the country's missile forces launched the strike on the Feodosia terminal, which is the largest oil processing facility on the peninsula, in an attack overnight. Russian-installed officials in Crimea have not confirmed the strike, but did acknowledge a fire at the facility. No casualties from the blast have been reported. And a municipal level emergency has been declared, with 300 people being evacuated from Feodosia due to the blaze. Footage circulating online appeared to show smoke rising over the Feodosia terminal. And that's it for our headlines. Time to pay them bills.
All right, let's get in some word and road. I did something because I forgot about Diddy's mum talking.
Okay.
In sad news, Whitney Houston's mum has passed away. I always felt bad for her, because I can't imagine that your daughter dying and then your granddaughter dying, in such a short space of time. But yeah, so sadly she's passed away at the age of 91. Her family released a statement and they said, so she died on Monday. And she was in a home. She was in hospice care, and she had Alzheimer's. And her daughter-in-law basically said, our hearts are filled with pain and sadness. We lost the matriarch of our family. She said, Mother CC has been a strong and towering figure in our lives, a woman of deep faith and conviction who cared greatly about family, ministry, and community. Her more than 7-decade career in music and entertainment will remain at the forefront of our hearts. R.I.P. to her, man. It's just sad. What is next on my list? Oh yeah, Taylor Swift is now the richest female musician in the world. And she's actually the second richest musician. And the first is Jay-Z. I did not know that. I never knew Jay-Z was the first. Also, I didn't know... No, I think I definitely did talk about Rihanna being the richest at the time. I think that was last year. But yeah, so she's now... Her net worth is $1.6 billion. Which is great. I think Rihanna's is 1.2 at the moment or something like that.
I don't think I've ever listened to a Taylor Swift song.
Really? I love Taylor Swift. I haven't listened to her as an adult now, but back in the day, when she kind of first came out with Love Story and 22.
She's good.
Woman can sing.
Yeah, okay.
She's really cool. I like her. But no, I haven't listened to her. You haven't listened to her updated stuff. I just haven't. But yeah. But she's always her tours always sell out. She's got one of the biggest fan bases in the world, I believe. Swifties, they don't play. But yeah, so that's Taylor Swift's situation. And last week I talked about how DDG announced on his Instagram story that he and Halle are broken up. Halle ain't said nothing about this. This is why I hear. He's in interviews. I don't know whether pre-recorded or whatever it is, but he's been getting cooked. Just cooked, basically. So he did an interview where he's talking about how if he could go back, he'd tell his 23-year-old him that not to be in a relationship because it can stunt your career. He's a streamer. Like, all you do is stream. You make memes of your kid. Anyways, so Joe Budden talked about it on their podcast. Obviously, they run through different things that's happening, whatever. So Joe Budden basically said that he's happy that they've broken up because he never wants to hear about him ever again. And he says that the only time he's ever heard, that he doesn't know who DDG is. He said the only time he's ever heard about DDG is in relation to Halle. He said, to be fair, I don't even know who Halle is either. But he was like, it's always with her and it's always like him doing some kind of clout stuff. But DDG did not like it. He decided to cuss Joe Budden about Pump It Up. But DDG makes music, so I don't know how many certifications he's got under his belt. But anyway, he said, Pump It Up went gold after 20 years, you old bitch. I'm on you. People would anyway. He says, you got 30 years max of life left and you're speaking on a relationship of people the same age as your son you don't take care of. I hope you forget to take your magnesium pills today, you old bee. Then he says he doesn't trip over what the girls say because he's used to it. It's all love. But he says men with platforms, they will always get a response from him. Okay. Sorry. What else is there? Oh, yes. In very good news. This has made me so happy. It made my childhood so happy. Anne Hathaway has officially confirmed that there will be a Princess Diaries 3. It's one of my most favorite films ever. Like, I can't even count how many times I've watched it. I just love it so much. But yeah, so she's confirmed there's going to be a part 3. I hope it's not dead. Because sometimes, I also believe in letting things just let them be. Don't ruin the history of things. But she posted on Instagram, posted on TikTok, posted on socials basically. And she said, miracles happen, back to Genovia with Disney and blah, 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 blah. And then said the fairy tale continues. I'm really looking forward to it. I'm really, really looking forward to it. I'm so happy. So yeah, there's been rumors about it in the past. But yeah, we're here now. I'm so happy about that. Behind every trifling son is a trifling mother who must defend him. So Diddy's mum wrote in a pistol. I'm not going to read all of it out. I'm just not going to do that. And it's so fun. Anyway, she put a statement out. Actually, I might read all of it. Let's see. So she says, I come to you today as a mother that is devastated and profoundly saddened by the allegations made against my son, Sean Combs. It's heartbreaking to see my son judged for not for the truth, but for a narrative created out of lies. To bear witness what seems to be a public lynching of my son before he has had opportunity to prove his innocence is a pain too unbearable to put into words. Like every human being, I hate when people do that, I hate when people say, oh, but nobody's perfect. Okay? Well, your imperfection, we're catching you for your imperfection. Talk about that. Anyway, she says, my son deserves to have his day in court, to finally share his side and to prove his innocence. Why don't I tell the judge? I'm not here to portray my son as perfect because he is not. He has made mistakes in the past, as we all have. No. Some of us, we didn't make illegal mistakes. Mistakes is me having an extra slice of cake when I knew that I was going to the gym and my food didn't digest really quickly. That's a mistake. Not flipping alleged prostitution rings. That's not a mistake, ma'am. That's illegal. She says, my son may not have been, hear this, My son may not have been entirely truthful about certain things, such as denying he has ever gotten violent with an ex-girlfriend when the hotel surveillance showed otherwise. Sometimes the truth and a lie become so closely intertwined that it becomes terrifying to admit one part of the story, especially when that truth is outside the norm or is too complicated to be believed. This is why I believe my son's civil legal team opted to settle the ex-girlfriend's lawsuit instead of contesting it until the end, resulting in I don't know what this word is, effect as we basically resulted in the federal government using this as a decision against her son by interpreting it as an admission of guilt. Trifling mother. It is important to recognize that none of us, regardless of our status, are immune to fear or mistakes. Do you know when people call stuff like this a mistake? It's so cheeky. Not being entirely straightforward about one issue does not mean my son is guilty of the repulsive allegation, so we should trust a liar, is what she's telling us. And the grave charges leveled against him. Many individuals were wrongfully convicted and later exonerated, had their freedom taken. She's going for a heart, and she's getting therapy. She's getting therapy because she's really about to lose her son. And she sounds like she's, yeah. Anyway, she said watching the world make jokes and laugh at her son's life crumbling before our eyes is something she can never forget. Well, you'll be all right. It's truly agonizing to watch the world turn against her son so quickly and easily over lies and misconceptions. This happens when you look to people to give you validation. They will turn against you. What else is there? She said these individuals saw how quickly her son's civil legal team settled with the ex-girlfriend's lawsuit, so they believe they can receive a quick payday by falsely accusing her son. So she says false allegations of sexual assault basically discredit true victims of sexual violence from getting the justice they deserve. Interesting. The injustice has been unbearable for her family. Well, when you do clownery, clownery comes back to bite. She says a whole bunch of other stuff. She also says her son is not a monster that he's been painted to be, and he deserves a chance to tell his side. And she can only pray that she's alive to see him speak his truth and be vindicated. Well, tell the judge to hurry up the case. He might be alive. And I heard a thing about, I haven't looked into it, but I heard something about, I think, basically, parts of the case is not going to be known to the public. Yeah, because you just did too much. Because they gave you some information. You just started making memes and doing dumb stuff about focusing on baby oil when there was human trafficking involved. Anyway, no one cares about Diddy or his mum. All the best to all of them. Let's get into People's Journal. I think it's waiting for you to do it.
Where's my laptop?
Oh, crap. All right, people. Welcome to the People's Journal, where I give you the news from an economics point of view. So, there's a couple things to talk about today. According to Halifax, I feel like I've kind of been mentioning this a few times in the past 1 or 2 weeks. And a new lender has pretty much come out, which is Halifax, saying that the average UK house price came close to reaching a record high last month, as the fall in mortgage rates helped to basically boost the confidence amongst buyers. So remember, we spoke about this before when Nationwide had their latest news as well. Earlier, was it last week? Was it yesterday? No. End of last week. Also, I believe it was Lloyd's as well that said something earlier than that as well. But yeah, long story short, the UK's largest mortgage lender, which is Halifax, said that the average price hit £293,399. This is back in September, which is just short of the record of £293,507, which was the highest back in June 2022. So yeah, man, the market has improved. Obviously, market conditions have improved anyway, and prices have now risen for 3 months in a row. Of course, like we said earlier, with mortgage affordability kind of going up, people are going to be more encouraged to buy. That's going to push the prices up. So I guess, I don't know, we need to find some sort of a happy medium. I say that mainly for the people, I guess, who want to buy their first properties or buy additional properties. You know what I'm saying? As the mortgage prices, the tariffs get better and better, people feel like, cool, this is a perfect time for me to actually jump in and get a property. But of course, the longer you take, the higher the prices of properties may go. Next thing I wanted to mention is water companies have been ordered to return £158 million to customers via lower bills. This is going to be happening next year. because they've missed the key targets on issues like pollutions and leaks. Now, this is something that should have been happening time ago, to be fair. I don't see how all these companies can try and get our bills to be increased, but yet they're not actually doing the things that they should be spending some of the money on, which is fixing the pollution and the leaks and all the things that customers basically suffer from. Ofwat, which is the industry regulator in the water sector, they announced a rebate following its annual review of water and wastewater companies, their performance basically in England and Wales. And the chief executive, David Black, warned that the companies that money alone is not going to solve the issue, and there needs to be a change in actual culture going forward, because obviously these guys are just motivated by profit, which is of course is the case. But if you haven't got a real free market, if you haven't got any competition, then this sort of situation is what happens when there's a monopoly. So it's good that I guess there is a regulator here that can kind of force them to do these sort of things. Otherwise, we would have just been paying more for poor services. Next thing I wanted to say, and Margs, I believe, remember back in the day you were saying that you had an FTX account? Crypto.
Yeah, they still got my money.
Yes.
Cool.
100%.
I was speaking of the show. Like,
Yeah,
3
bare long,
years.
They still got my butter still.
Mm-hmm.
I got how much USD did I have in there? It was about no, it weren't. It was only like $200-300 I said I had left in there.
Yeah, some hundreds, yeah.
Yeah, so no, they got it.
Well, apparently the customers are set to receive up to $16.5 billion under a bankruptcy plan.
Me?
Well, not you.
What?
No.
I said me, you know.
No, I get 16 billion for my investment.
Unfortunately not.
Are you part of the class action suit?
No.
Anyone write to you? Yeah, you ain't getting a penny.
But yeah, man, basically the bankruptcy plan was approved in America, man, and the deal is basically going to allow former customers to recover about 119% of what they had in their accounts at the time of bankruptcy. So you should get all your money back. I'm not too sure when this is going to happen, but yeah, this is basically, hopefully it should happen anyway.
Make Sean take off the units.
Yeah. All right.
See you later.
Later. So yeah, man, that's what's gonna happen. For those who don't know, basically FTX was a crypto platform that was run by Sam Bankman-Fried, and he basically was convicted of stealing customer funds, basically just before it collapsed. And then now he's basically serving a 25-year sentence in prison. So yeah, man, creditors are expected to receive the funds 60 days after the plan is declared effective, but that date is yet to be agreed. So once the date is agreed, hopefully 60 days from there, you should get your money back, man. So make sure you check your emails, man, because they might give you some, I don't know, temporary passport or something to log in it.
That money's gone, man.
You never know. You never know.
No, I know. I ain't cry off spill more. That money's gone. Fuck it.
All right, cool. Last thing I wanted to mention is, remember yesterday I was talking about how a company was going to come in and basically help TGIs survive. Well, regardless of that happening, basically, they're still saying that more than 1,000 TGI Fridays UK staff will be made redundant, unfortunately. Yeah. There's nothing more to say about the story, man. The deal that's going to be put in place will save about 2,400 jobs at 51 different restaurants. But the administrators, it's called Tenio, they said that 35 branches will close. So that's basically equating to about a third of the workforce. So 1,000 people are going to be made redundant, man. TGI Fridays are basically saying that they're working with landlords on a deal to save all the closed restaurants as well. So I'm not too sure if they want to maybe, I don't know, do something later on or whatever, try to resurrect them going forward. But yeah, at the moment, it's looking like 1,000 people are going to be laid off, unfortunately. But yeah, that's it for the People's Journal. There isn't much else to talk about.
Have we got something for friend today? Is it
No,
headlines?
we don't for the first time in a while.
Well, it looks like we're going to do 9:45. Let's get into our next headlines.
Let's do it.
What are you doing?
All right, people. So, this is crazy. So, next headline. The United States apparently has spent $22.76 billion in support of Israel's war on Gaza and the operations against the Houthis in Yemen. This is according to a report by Brown University's Watson Institute. So the $17.9 billion in military aid to Israel since the war in Gaza started a year ago is the highest annual total ever. This is according to the report, right? The aid to Israel, is a mix of military financing. It's for weapons sales and transfers from U.S. weapons stockpiles. Again, this is according to the report, which is part of the Institute's Cost of War project. A large part of the U.S. delivered arsenal is munitions, including artillery shells and 2,000-pound bombs. Unlike the U.S.'s publicly documented military aid to Ukraine, details of some U.S. military shipments to Israel are more elusive. So the $17.9 billion figure is incomplete. This is according to Brown researchers. Next thing I wanted to mention is authorities in the DRC, the Democratic Republic of Congo, have begun vaccinations against Mpox. This is nearly 2 months after the disease outbreak that spread to several countries was declared a global emergency by the World Health Organization. Some of the 265,000 doses donated to the DRC by the EU and the US, were administered in the eastern city of Goma in the North Kivu province, where hospitals and health workers have been overstretched, struggling to contain the new and possibly more infectious strain of Mpox. The DRC, with about 30,000 suspected Mpox cases and 859 deaths, account for more than 80% of all the cases and 99% of all the deaths reported in Africa this year. All of the Central African countries, 26 provinces, have recorded Mpox cases. Although most Mpox infections and deaths recorded in the DRC are in children under 15, the doses being administered are only meant for adults and will be given to at-risk populations and frontline workers. And that's it for our headlines.
Well,
Time to pay them bills.
let's get into the reaction.
Welcome to the reaction, people. I'll read out your sports headlines. Only got one story for you, so maybe we're gonna finish at 9:40.
Brent might as well have stayed.
It's got man doing all this foolishness with the cameras. We're back. So the only headline I got to read for you is about Man City and the Premier League. They both claim a victory in the legal battle over rules on the commercial deals. Man City and the Premier League have both claimed victory in a legal battle over rules relating to commercial deals. The club launched legal action against the associated party transaction, the APT rules, earlier this year on the grounds they were anti-competitive. On Monday, City released a statement saying the tribunal had declared the APT rules unlawful and that the league had abused the dominant position under competition law. They added, the tribunal has determined both that the rules are structurally unfair and that the Premier League was specifically unfair in how it applied those rules to the club in practice. The Premier League said the majority of City's challenges in the case were rejected, but added the tribunal did, however, identify a small number of discrete elements of the rules which do not, in their current form, comply with competition and public law requirements. These elements can quickly and effectively be remedied by the league and the clubs. City are sick, taking their little court victories where they can because the main case is still going on. The important one is not winning that shit. Have you got the that's what I got to read to you, by the way. Have you got the means to press this link?
I don't, you know.
You're
talking about for Danae? Nah.
Oh, what a way to go.
I can play the audio. That might be better though.
Nah, it'll be alright. It's just press wrap up.
That ain't no problem.
Ain't no problem.
All right.
Ain't no problem. You're gonna come. He is going to confuse him. Well, that was the end of a great show. Hour and 37 minutes. I like this new setup that we got here.
Okay. Let's see what the Lord does tomorrow. We start 8.
Tomorrow we're going to be here at 8.
Yep.
Definitely. I mean,
starting at 8.
Huh?
Starting at 8.
Starting at 8.
Yeah.
I can do it, you know. You know what I used to do sometimes? I would get here and your car wouldn't be here. So I would go.
Oh, yeah, I used to see you. Then you just be chilling in the car. And then when I park in, then he comes in.
Then I come back.
I used to do this all the time.
Yeah.
So I would see your car not here, see Margs come and see your car not here, see him go away. Then I would go away, come back after you guys. Yo, this is crazy.
Do you believe it, Messa?
Isn't that your man? Of
Where's
course I don't.
the evidence?
I told you I'm planting it. I'm illegally obtaining CCTV footage of you leaving your house.
Esther Sachs.
That's the Sachs, isn't it?
I think I'm more like the other lady. Was it Branca? What was her name?
Oh my goodness.
The one with a horrible accent.
Yeah, I hated her, but I'd rather be her. Because she was a teller of truths. She was going to get to the bottom of it, even if it was the last thing she did.
Yep.
Did she get killed?
No, she's still here, you know. Still here.
I liked her.
Oh man.
I liked her. Let me even start power today, man.
Well, obviously, we had a great show today, guys. It was a quick show. What did we talk about? Trigger warning here. A teenager died in the car chase with the police. 17-year-old. They got to sort them out. We had a good topic of the day. We was talking about convicting the guilty versus protecting the innocent. Esther Sachs over here does not care about
Period.
laws.
Yeah, Glow.
Yeah, Glow.
Yeah, Glow.
Yeah, it's crazy. Israel launched an intense wave of airstrikes on 120 sites in Lebanon. It is really going off. What happened on World on Road? Sissy Houston passed away, R.I.P.
R.I.P., man.
And DDG's beefing Joe Budden. Joe Budden's right. I don't know who DDG is. If it wasn't,
Listen. Went for the Little Mermaid.
if it weren't for Little Mermaid, I would not know. You know what I'm trying to say? And obviously the US has spent more than 20 billion in aid to Israel in the Middle East conflicts, all that kind of stuff. There wasn't much sports news today, but Man City got something to do in a case with the commercial deals that they was happy about. But again, I told you, that's not the real case they need to worry about. They need to face their front. You get what I'm saying?
Face their front.
Yeah, but yeah, and that was it, man. Down at air, we couldn't do it because Brent's not here to click the link. But tomorrow, hopefully you enjoy it. And tomorrow we're going to be starting at 8 a.m.
Be here.
I'm a creature of habit, innit? So I've just got to change my routine. Like when I leave my yard, when I do certain things, just to bring it 20 minutes earlier, which is fine. I'm genuinely awake in my house at 6 a.m. every single day. So there's no...
Okay.
It's not a big transition.
Okay. Because I thought you was warming up the excuses.
No. I just got to get my mind right. I'm awake every day.
Amen. You are awake every day. Mm-hmm. You sound as silly as that sounded when I said I'm awake when I sleep. I'm awake every day, yes.
It's like, no shit, Sherlock. No, but I could do it. I'm awake. You test me, message me, call me, like check. Like I'm up. You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna be better, man. But that's gonna be it, man. Stacey's gonna be able to sleep. Her sleeping pattern's gonna be alright.
Trust me, I ruined Stacey's sleeping
For
pattern.
real, man.
Well,
All right.
here.
Hey, man. That's it, man. We'll see you in the morning at
Bye.
8 o'clock sharp.
Peace.
Peace out.